Hello, it's Linda Ann, and today I'm taking you out to Vicki Ross's in Bentonville, Arkansas to see her gallery of paintings. Vicki works in many different mediums, and sometimes it's covered with glass. Therefore, I got a lot of reflection in my photography, but I think you'll enjoy this anyway. So Vicki, show us your work.
This particular piece was in my very first watercolor class, and it was absurd now looking back on it because she had us do 300-pound watercolor paper for a beginner. So what we did was painted it first, painted the background, and then we put a sheet of Chinese fiber paper on top of it, crinkled it with Elmer's glue and water, and then after it cured, then we came back in and painted on it.
And what's the base, Vicki?
300-pound watercolor paper.
Okay.
She had beginners work on paper that cost $20.
Beginners.
Beginners.
That's
and
lovely.
This Linda Wessel, we're gonna.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
You can be on YouTube. Come on, girl, make a star out of you.
Oh goodness gracious.
I do the same thing. I can't stand my glasses on.
I go back and forth. I rip them up. And
I haven't even put mine on yet. This one is a pastel that was photographed from a Japanese maple tree outside our dining room window, and that was fun because I left the background fuzzy. And from a picture I took in France, and it is pastel, and there's a matching one in oil because I was practicing the grisaille method where you paint the whole thing in gray tones and then come back with your color.
Oh.
The one down here is a pastel St. Robin's Island. That's Cape Town in the background. And that was a fun one. Water's not as easy to paint as you think it would be. And make it look real. This is another one I'm really proud of. This is the Cape of Good Hope, looking down into the ocean. This is pastel, and it was an excellent example of using a wet technique. This area right here is the very first layer that was put on with a hard new pastel, liquefied, and the pigment was swirling in the liquid, and when it dried it looked like water, so I didn't cover that.
What I'm trying to do is get it where it's not, doesn't have so much reflection. We don't want to see me in it.
That's just amazing. That's just amazing.
This is a pastel in a style I practiced for a while called trompe-l'oeil. And what it is fool the eye. And typically there's an insect in it somewhere, but the arrangement of the items are meant to tell a story. And this little boy, Leo, was asleep under the stairs, and I got this picture of him and painted it on the whole page, and I realized his head was too big, so I cut him out of that big sheet. And then I took another sheet of paper and put on top of it like a picture frame. So those are two pieces. And Randy gave him that Razorback hat when we were there, and this is a snapshot of him wearing the Razorback hat.
But is it a painted snapshot?
This is a painted snapshot.
There you go.
This is not two-dimensional. The tape is painted, the cracks in it are painted, and the Tour de France went by their house that summer, and this is the little flag that he waved outside. So I did it pretending that this little boy had his treasures hanging on a picture frame in his room. And he was wearing this little watch the night I took the picture.
All right.
This piece is a still life that was set up at La Bonne Étoile in France, and it's about a 200-year-old copper pot, and it's got all the green oxidation on it and that little blue pot. The vegetables were for dinner that night. The antique linen was on the table. And this painting was done as an oral demonstration by Leslie B. DeMille. And I was able to get my own pictures of the setup and then came home and did it in pastel. And this one has been in an international competition and also won a statewide award for the Arkansas Pastel Society. This was one of my first watercolors, and I did it sitting outside on location in Italy with a little three-pronged stool up my butt. My water was on the moped that was parked beside me, and I sat in the alley for about 2 hours by myself and was really pleased with how that one turned out.
What part of Italy was this?
Oh, we were in Assisi. This piece is called Bloody Caesar. I did a series of drink paintings that were oddball. Randy had eaten sushi, and those were the abalone shells he brought home. So I had fun with that, making a composition with the shells and the Bloody Mary. A lot of people make, this is called a Bloody Caesar, and it's made with clam juice. Okay, this painting was from a picture I took in Assisi, Italy, on the trip that we were with the international artist and Charles Reed. And for watercolor, it was a very ambitious piece for me because I'm not that expert at watercolor yet. But I think the water and the vibrancy of the paint really comes through in that. And I particularly love the tree at the top. This was a project I did when I was studying with Tim Tyler in my private classes. And it was a raku vase, and he said, don't worry about painting all the little crackles. And it took 2 weeks because we had to let the background dry, and he had me paint a flame orange-red in the background against that yellow, and then the next week when it was dry, came back in with this mixture of yellow ochre, black, and white, which makes a wonderful greenish neutral. And what I particularly liked was how I got the apple to be a greenish yellow and got the vase to be a reddish yellow. And that little clump of white right there is just cool.
It is.
This painting right below it is special because I took this picture on the coast of California. You can see the fog rolling in, but what particularly entranced me was how the light hit the ocean, and it came in from here and then disappeared as it turned dark on the other side. So that one strip of water really caught my attention, the way the light and the dark melded. And, this vase is something someone gifted us after our fire. This Phoenix is a hand-carved ivory piece. It's about that big, that was in Randy's mother's treasures. And this is a Japanese napkin and a Japanese sake cup with a phoenix on it. Randy's candle from his birthdays in Japan with the candle lit. And these are the lyrics from a song by Jesse Coulter about the phoenix also rises, that is a real meaningful song. And then over here I put tears from a phoenix heal wounds. So this is a tear from the phoenix, and this is from Harry Potter. And here's the new phoenix rising from the ashes.
That's cool.
And so the clipboard is painted, the pieces of paper are painted, and then I wrote on them with a pencil.
This is painted?
Uh-huh.
I'll be darned. Isn't that wild? It just looks so real.
Our first picture I ever took, and it was in Cape Town, and that little flower just spoke to me, so I got a good picture. And I've painted it several times. There it is in oil. I don't do really well with landscapes. I do much better with still life.
Still life.
She's from Canada and she's from New Zealand, and sitting there painting under that red umbrella. I just loved it. And this is another story painting. The lady that did the colored pencil, these are her great-grandchildren, twins. And she loved doing art projects and would just have everybody come in and, well, come work on this painting and it'll be all of ours. We'll all sign it. So she had done a sketch here of the phoenix. It was another phoenix. I don't know why that weaves. And this was the painting. And they helped paint, but they're eating ice cream, and he's more interested in his new shoes than he is his ice cream. And that's a story. Move out, so this picture's got to be moved up. This was one of my first acrylics, and for the life of me, I cannot duplicate what I did in the background. This was done in 2005, no, in 2004, and I started in 2002. I don't know how I did the background, but this was done for daughter Sarah. I love you all the way around the world and back again 100 million times.
Oh, how cool.
And so I did this one in pastel, acrylic, and watercolor.
Come on,
I learned to paint oil with Ann Templeton, who's she's gone now, but fabulous oil teacher, pastel artist.
There's your watercolor subject matter.
Same photo, I just moved the tree on this one.
I like the tree better.
I love that.
I like the tree
Live and
off to
learn.
the right.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is another photo from Cape Town. And I remember standing in that studio and going, but I don't know what to do next, because I'd never painted with oil. I don't know what to do. And so she came over and made a few thick marks with white like in there, and all of a sudden I was ready to go again. But
Lego man.
Lego man. This is an oil painting of Randy's legs, and it was particularly interesting because the warm light was coming from the room and the artificial lighting, and the cool light was coming from a north window. So that was a little challenging for the cools, and then all this hot.
In the bathroom.
A friend of ours painted that.
That's cool.
Isn't that cute?
That is cute. I love the aviator. Old Snoopy goggles.
Y'all are getting to see the further reaches of our... You have to move something to move something else.
Oh, well, believe me,
I know you know. So does Linda. So the paintings on the door and on the back of this door were a switch over for me to switch from doing realism to doing abstracted expressionism type stuff. So what the theme was to take the same landscape composition with 4 or 5 elements and see how many different ways I could do that. And so I think I did 60 or 70, and I started taking them down and put them in a book.
That's an excellent idea. That'd be an amazing book.
I got some right here too.
Wow.
One of them has dryer lint on it. Wow. And these 2 little pieces are, again, way early. I think those were my first pieces in pastel. And we made the boards, and that's Table Mountain in Cape Town. And I blended and blended and blended. I had the best time getting my hands in that pigment. And I've since learned that it's better not to do that.
It's still beautiful.
And then if you'll come in and
did you do that as one piece
No,
and
I did it as
separated, or you
2.
did it as 2 as a okay.
Now the piece behind the door was my very first award. And this one's kind of a tearjerker. That's our house after it burned.
Oh.
And 3 days after the fire, that particular cloud formation was in the sky.
I wish the reflection wouldn't be there.
And the gold leaf around it is from the 1500s, a Japanese haiku. It says, "Since my house burned down, I now have a better view of the rising moon." And the moon is shining through what was left of her bedroom window.
Wow.
If you enjoyed seeing Vicki's amazing work, please give us a thumbs up. Check the video description box below for all of her links and my links. Leave a comment, share this on your social media, and please subscribe to both of our channels. Thank you for watching.